One of my favorite things to do in Gym Leader Challenge format is really invest myself into each type and figure out what that type does better than any other type in the Pokemon TCG. And after working on my Fire type deck for about a year and a half, I feel like I've finally got it figured out. Fire type Pokemon are absolutely unrivaled at discarding the opponent's entire deck. That's just what they do best. They mill cards! With Centiskorch, Moltres, and Oricorio in your deck, your opponent will be begging for mercy and wishing they had way more cards to spare. I'm stoked to show off my Fire-type mill deck, but before we get to it, let's head over to GymLeaderChallenge.com. Gym Leader Challenge is my favorite way to play Pokemon cards. It's super fun and easy to explain to friends. There's just a couple of things to keep in mind when building a Gym Leader Challenge deck. First of all, it's a singleton format, so you can only play one of each card except basic energy in your deck. Next, it's a monotype format, so you can only play one type of Pokemon in your deck, like a gym leader might. And then finally, there are no rulebox cards allowed in Gym Leader Challenge format, so no Pokemon V, V-Star, V-Max, EX, GX, or anything like that. And the resulting format is a ton of fun. So head over to GymLeaderChallenge.com now and check out the awesome Getting Started guides to see some tips on how to build a deck using your favorite type of Pokemon. Now, let's check out that Fire Mill deck. Fire has pretty much everything that it needs to build the perfect mill deck. First of all, we've got the Pokemon that do the milling, or the discarding. Centiskorch and Moltres. They pretty much do the same thing, except Moltres has to discard all fire energy from it, then you discard a card from the top of the opponent's deck for each energy you discarded in this way, and Centiskorch, with the 100-foot flames attack, discards the top card of the opponent's deck for each fire energy attached to Centiskorch. Centiskorch is obviously a little bit better, but Moltres is a basic Pokemon and really easy to get into play and reuse, which is something that you're definitely going to want to do throughout a game. Now, in order to get energy on these Pokemon, we've got Emboar with the Inferno Fandango ability, which allows you to attach as many fire energy from your hand to your Pokemon in play as you want during your turn. And then Charizard from the Pokemon Go set has the Burn Brightly ability, which makes all of your fire energy in play count as 2 fire energy. And this deck plays 10 fire energy. So if you have 10 fire energy attached to Centiskorch or Moltres and Charizard in play, then you can discard 20 cards off the top of the opponent's deck. And in Gym Leader Challenge format, every one of those cards except basic energy is going to be a single copy. So you're going to be discarding some really valuable resources off the top of the opponent's deck. Delphox is the glue that holds this entire deck together. With its mystical fire ability, you can draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand once during your turn, and then Oricorio is like the spice on top. Its captivating salsa attack switches one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon and makes the new active Pokemon burned and confused. This is really good for slowing the opponent down and forcing them to burn resources in order to switch unwanted Pokemon out of the active spot. This deck is one of my favorite Gym Leader Challenge decks to play, and I'm stoked to show it off in action. So check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, best of luck to Jesse. Jesse is playing his metal deck. I've got my Fire Mill deck. This is kind of a lackluster opening hand, but that's okay. There's not really anything in the hand that I care to discard, so that's kind of unfortunate. I do want to thin the deck, though, so I'm going to play Giant Hearth, and I have to pick one card to discard. I think probably the Super Rod is fine. So we'll get rid of that and go get 2 fire out of the deck. While I'm here, I'll check my prizes. We've got Charizard and Delphox. I mean, a lot of the guys we need are here. Looks like the only Pokemon I prized is Centiskorch. So that's good. Then I can Quick Ball away one of these fire energies and I can go get myself Fennekin. And next turn I can use lead, actually, to go get a supporter and put it into my hand. So it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, look at that. Fennekin just being real nice and helpful. And then we'll put that down and we'll pass. Then I'm not sure that I actually care to use Silene yet. Silene is a great card once I have Delphox set up. But before I get Delphox set up, Silene isn't doing a whole lot. Silene's really bad in the opening hand in most Gym Leader Challenge games. There's some times where Silene can be good, where maybe you play a level ball and then you can Silene the level ball back on top and then play it again the next turn to help you set up, which can be situationally useful. But for the most part, it's not great. Now, what's interesting about the metal matchup is we can go either pure aggro, just start attacking, since some of these Pokemon are going to be weak to fire, and by some of them, I mean literally all of them, except for the ones wearing maybe Coating Metal Energy or Metal Frying Pan. But then I can also go for the mill strategy, just try to deck Jessie out, which is also an appealing strategy, since I can rid Jessie of many resources and make his life generally very difficult. So we'll see which route kind of makes more sense as we get into the game. He's having a very strong turn one, though, with Bridget, and wow, just using the Heavy Ball to go get Kling Klang kind of shows me that he's got Rare Candy. Kling Klang could have a very explosive turn two. I get Rare Candy off the top of the deck, which is not necessarily helpful. I don't think I actually need this Silene yet, so we're just going to get rid of the Silene, go get 2 more Fire Energies, and then I am going to attach one of these Fire Energies to the Charmander, because I could just like take a big knockout. Rare Candy Charizard, just boom, right? And we're going to lead. And with lead, I mean, I could get something like a greens and just, you know, go in, which would be pretty funny, right? I kind of think greens would be pretty funny. So let's do greens. Sure. That way, if Jessie comes at me crazy next turn, I'm popping off. I could go greens, Rare Candy Charizard, get another supporter for next turn, go in, big attack. All right, doesn't have the Rare Candy, that's fine. Green still helps me to set up, so I'm happy to get greens. I can evolve into Delphox with Green's Exploration, which is very good. But I was worried, since he had gotten the Kling Klang with the Heavy Ball, I was worried that it was going to be like a crazy Rare Candy Kling Klang situation where he really pops off and gets this very aggressive turn two. We do need to start setting up our Emboar. That is something that we very much need. So I need to get Tepig out. And then I have kind of all these recovery cards in my hand right now, which is just, I mean, just we opened with all of them. Silene, Super Rod, just literally how many recovery cards can you open in your starting hand? I've got them all. So it looks like, ooh, I love this. All right. Oricorio off the top is brilliant for us. Got 1 Fire Energy. We can go greens, and we're going to get Ultra Ball, can get rid of Pignite And I'm just going to have to recover a lot of stuff later in the game. And I'm just kind of okay with that. And I think I'm going to drag something active with this Oricorio this next turn. Let's get Quick Ball, because I want to thin my hand down to draw more, like, slightly. Quick Ball is not... I've already played Quick Ball. So we're going to get Nest Ball, and we're going to get Evolution Incense, I think. Yeah, seems fine. So we're going to use Nest Ball and go get the Tepig, because I need that dude. And I'm going to attach this here, and I'm going to go Rare Candy, and we're going to get Delphox. And then we're going to retreat into the doll, because the doll can just kick itself to the bottom of the deck at any point. So we're going to get this guy, and then next turn I evolve into Pignite. So let's just Mystical Fire. And finding Charmeleon there is huge. And then the Verse Seeker is also... Well, I could Verse Seeker for Silene, maybe? But I think it's good to Lily's Pokédoll, just kick this thing, and be disruptive with Oricorio. So we send up Oricorio, and then we say, all right, I want to... Captivating Salsa, and we're going to bring up this guy. And he's just confused and burned, and he's got a retreat cost of 2, and hopefully is a pain to move. And Oricorio is really the star of the show in this deck because it helps you buy time to set up, right? That's all you want in the Fire Mill. You just want, like, let me get out my 3 Stage 2 Pokemon, and once I get out my 3 Stage 2 Pokemon, I'm winning. Now, Kling Klang's got that nasty Triple Gears ability, which allows Jesse to go get 3 basic energy out of the deck and attach them to his Pokemon in any way he likes. So he can accelerate those onto Berserker, maybe for a retreat, extra energy onto Kling Klang. That's fine. And then Cynthia, and if he finds an energy from hand, he can attach to Kling Klang, retreat, knock out Oricorio. I've got Rescue Stretcher in hand right now, so I can just bring the Oricorio back and do it again, which is funny. Or I can just Counter Catcher too. And we could just keep gusting up the Berserker and trying to buy more time. I've got Pignite. I think the card that I want, if I end up using Silene, is Evolution Incense. Now, this does not turn off its weakness, so Kling Klang is still weak to fire. So I could just attack this thing with Charizard if he brings it up. I mean, I do have a Charmeleon with a fire energy, and it looks like he's just going to hang out here, which is perfect for me. This is exactly what I want, right? And then I've got Pignite. We're going to Verse Seeker for Silene. Yes. Verse Seeker for Silene. And I really want to get that Evolution Incense back on top of the deck. I don't think that I'm going to use... I could Giant Hearth away Tropical Beach. No, it's just not worth it. Yep. I think I'm okay to play the Tropical Beach down to get an extra draw off of Silene. And we find the Evolution Incense. We get to put that back on top of the deck, which is very good. And then we're going to Mystical Fire for more draw. And we've got the Evolution Incense, which is insane because now I can evolve into Charizard, right? And we're kind of getting Exodia set up beautifully. And then I think I want to attach this energy to Charizard, just so I kind of have it here. And then I think we beach this turn. I really want a Captivating Salsa the Kling Klang. It's a tough call. If I Captivating Salsa the Kling Klang, that is just like, that's a nuts play for us for sure. But Beaching also increases my hand size by a lot. So I think we go Beach. That's fine. Because we really want to find the cards that I need to set up this Emboar. We're so close now. We've got Delphox, we've got Charizard. If they take a knockout, I can Counter Catcher. I also force them to retreat the Berserker, right? Get the 2 energy off the Berserker. They retreat into Kling Klang. They knock out the Oricorio. I Counter Catcher up. And now I've got 2 fire on the Charizard, so if they do decide to gust up Pignite or Delphox or something, then I could just retaliate with the Charizard, which is really nice. That is a very annoying Parallel City there, for sure. But it's fine. I don't actually need a lot of bench space, which is one of the reasons I really like this deck, because you can just operate with Charizard, Delphox, Pignite, and then like your 1 mill guy, and you're kind of chilling, right? Now, Berserker's got the Frying Pan on it, which turns off the weakness, and I think that Jesse's not really concerned about weakness, considering that I'm not playing a deck that typically attacks. It's the Fire Mill deck, but I mean, I could just knock out this Kling Klang. Then, like, what is... I can just knock out the Kling Klang. But I don't know that that's the best move. We've got Moltres. We've got Pal Pad. But I don't need any of those yet. We've got this Level Ball we can burn. Got this Fire Energy we can put here. We've got Counter Catcher. We're going to bring up the Berserker again. We can burn this. I don't need any of these. We just need that pig. I need that pig. Okay, that's fine. So I don't think that I necessarily want a Pal Pad. And I've got 3 fire in the discard pile, but I've already attached for turn. So I kind of have to Pal Pad 1 card. We'll put the Silene back into the deck. And then I can Rescue Stretcher and shuffle just the Oricorio, which is not exactly how I want to use Rescue Stretcher, but that's fine. And then we'll Mystical Fire for 4 cards. And we find Peonia and Pokegear. So we're going to Pokegear, and we find Colress and Surge. So I could Colress for a draw of 6, or I could Surge Peonia. Okay. I think it's Colress for a draw of 6. Which is just the way we have to do it. I could also just knock out this Berserker this turn, which is not bad. So let's Colress. I've had all these, recovery cards in my hand this entire game, which is super obnoxious. And we do find the Emboar easily, but I don't find anything else. So I think the play this turn is to say, you can't do 170 damage to my Charizard. So I'm going to Flare Blitz. And we just knock this thing out, and I get to take a prize card. Would you look at that? I find Evosoda. Don't need that. So now I need to find Fire Energy. Badly. So in order to get Fire Energy, I can find that Superior Energy Retrieval, Fire Crystal, any of that. I've only taken 1 prize card. You should not be able to knock out my Charizard. I don't think that you can. I've got Moltres here, and all 3 of my stage 2s. You don't have Caparajos not set up. This thing can only do 130 damage. That's okay. And that's nice because it keeps my Emboar out of range too, and it keeps my Delphox out of range. So knocking out the Berserker was actually really important because Kling Klang would have been able to knock out Delphox or Emboar with Power Beam doing 150 damage before. But being locked at 130, it'll have to just swing into one of these guys. which will not take the KO. So thankfully I do have a pretty nice burnable hand, so I can kind of burn down a bunch of this. I can Ultra Ball, Heavy Ball, and then use Mystical Fire to draw cards. I don't know that I want to use Cynthia Caitlin this turn and be a card to be a slightly better later in the game. But again, like, look at Jesse's deck. Jesse only has 21 cards. It's like we're aggressive enough that we can force the opponent to play cards. And here we go. Superior Fisherman. I'm in. That's it. So now Jesse's got 20 cards left in deck. It's time to strike. It is time. I can Superior, get 4 fire energy from the discard pile, attach them to Moltres. Moltres' top burner attack discards all fire from this Pokemon, then discards a card from the top of the opponent's deck for each energy I discarded. So looks like Power Beam just going to do 130 damage. I could also Fire Spin this thing like pretty easily, right? Which is kind of crazy. So we got, I don't think I see myself using Peony. I could just go on the aggressive. You guys want to attack? We could just attack. We're going to Superior these. No, who wants to attack, bro? That's not why I'm here. It's way more fun if we do it this way. Way more fun. All right, we Mystical Fire for a draw of 5. Okay. Heavy Ball. Bro, there's so many energy. Oh, yeah, Peonia is insane to play this turn. Maybe Peonia next turn. All right. No, we Fisherman next turn. Peonia this turn. Okay. And Fire. So I'll put back the Surge, the N. So right now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm milling 16 cards. That's fine. Okay. And then we're going to Inferno Fandango these. Okay. Retreat. And top burner. To mill 16 cards. GG's, Jesse. GG's. Playing against Get Right's water deck, they've got Hisuian Basculin, and I have got my trusty Fennekin. Fennekin can lead and find a supporter card, but I also have Tropical Beach. So, there's not really any cards in this hand that I want to put into the prizes, which makes playing Peonia really tough. But I will see what we got, because it's the only supporter I have in my hand right now. 2 fire energy, Evolution Incense. I mean, I could definitely live without the substitute and the Evolution Incense. I could just put like a bunch of stuff in there. I want to keep the Evolution Incense for next turn. I could put a bunch of stuff in there and then just say, like, I'll Peonia again next turn. Like the Centiskorch I might be able to live without. And the Fire Crystal I might be able to live without temporarily. And then the idea is I just want to beach for a lot of cards. And those cards are clogging up my hand right now. So that's fine. And then we can put the Robo sub out. I can put the beach out. I can attach a fire energy here. And then we can just beach for 4. I kind of like that. And then now I've got Verse Seeker, and with like these different cards, I can have like a better look at Peonia. And, well, or, you know, I can just get Marnied. That's something that we can do. We got Charmeleon and Quick Ball. Hopefully the beach stays. I would like to draw out of this. They've got Nest Ball for Remoraid, and they're probably going to gather the crew, I have to imagine. Yep. So they'll set up a couple of benched Pokemon with Hisuian Basculin's free attack. Thankfully, they're not really at a point where they can aggress yet. They have to set up their Pokemon. As we can see, they got Squirtle and Wailmer. So I get another turn to help set up my board states. I'm going to Quick Ball away the Fire Energy. And we prize Tepig. So we'll go get Charmander. I highly doubt that they're going to be attacking this turn, so I feel like I can keep my Fennekin active for one more turn. And we'll beach. We find Bridget and Ball Guy. So Ball Guy is going to be the card of choice because I'll be able to get Hisui and Heavy Ball and go find my Tepig, which is prized. And let's see, they've got Evolution Incense. Probably go for Octillery, start setting up their board. Octillery's Abyssal Hand can help them to draw more cards every turn, which then will help them to set up Blastoise so they can accelerate energy onto Wailmer. Here's Wailord. Now, Wailord is a mighty big Pokemon to deal with, and they've got Ball Guy, so Ball Guy will be able to easily set up Octillery or Turtle potentially, and then maybe we'll see one more Gather the Crew before an eventual attack next turn. Decks like the Water and the Grass deck usually have to spend a couple of turns setting up their powerful Stage 2 Pokemon so that they can accelerate energy into play, and then once those Pokemon are online, they can juice up really serious attacks like Wailord's Special Wave, which can do 240 damage. There's that Octillery. Octillery's Abyssal Hand, great consistency card too. Fills to 5, kind of like Bibarel. And I really like Ball Guy in the Water deck because you also have access to Dive Ball, which is basically a Master Ball for Water-type Pokemon. So you can get whatever Pokemon you want. Sobble is a good choice because then you're giving yourself Drizzile as an option to go get trainer cards out of your deck, help you set up Blastoise. Maybe get the Rare Candy Blastoise play next turn with the help of Shady Dealings. And then another Gather the Crew. So it's definitely possible that I could get... nice, we find Green's Exploration too. It's definitely possible I could get Attack this next turn, so maybe retreating into the Robo Sub will be the play. I think we want a Green's next turn, though, and Ball Guy this turn, because Ball Guy is just going to be the easiest access to the Hisuian Heavy Ball, and then Green's the following turn will be good. We can evolve into Braixen. I think I probably want to evolve into Braixen and then retreat into the Doll. That just makes sense. And then we want to go get Moltres or something. Moltres is not weak to fire, so that's awesome. Let's do that. Well, Hisuian Heavy Ball for the Tepig. Wow, I prized quite a few fellas. Tepig. And then we'll bench Tepig. We've got Nest Ball for the Moltres. We've got Timer Ball, which can go get us Braixen. And then we'll retreat into the Robo sub. Evolve into Braixen. Attach Fire Energy to Moltres and Beach for 2. And then they've got 32 cards left in deck. We want to keep an eye on that because we want to run them out of cards. Typically, you know, fire decks would be scared to play against a water deck, but taking 6 prizes is not our goal. We are trying to win through other means. So they're just going to beach this turn. Draw more cards, makes sense. And, you know, when my opponent's beaching, I'm fine with that because it gives me another turn. I can evolve into Pignite and then use Green's Exploration. And with Green's Exploration, we could just go get a couple more cards to help us evolve. We'll go Evosoda to go get Delphox. Evolution Incense to go get Charizard. Attach Fire Energy there. Mystical Fire. And Beach for 1. Next turn is looking like a fine turn to just go in with Peonia. The hand is just jammed with supporter cards that I don't necessarily need. And Peonia will clear our hand completely, allow us to Mystical Fire for some more. I do really want to find... I guess I could... Gladion... My Versus Seeker... No, I put my Peonia back in the deck. So, I think I do want to get that... I do want to get that Centiskorch out of my prizes because being able to mill while keeping my Pokemon safe on the bench is like ideal. Moltres is good and all, but it discards the energy. So then if my opponent like gusts up my Emboar, then I can't mill the following turn, which is really really tough. Yo, what's up, Dan fans? Nice seeing you as well. Thank you. They're going to gust up Moltres. And thank you, JB Gamble, for that tier 1 sub in the 43 months. And they're looking for an energy in order to take a knockout. And they do find capture energy, so that Wailord is going to be able to do 240 damage to my Moltres. But now, I can use Lieutenant Surge's strategy. So, that is nice. We're going to send up the Robo sub. And let's get into this. We've got Surge. We've got probably Gladion. Because I need to get Sizzlipede. Sizzlipede down. Attach Fire Energy here. And then we can Peonia and just go get Heavy Ball, Counter Catcher. I could Counter Catcher up Blastoise and just try to stall it for a turn. I could probably save the Counter Catcher. I get Versus Seeker, so I can Versus Seeker again next turn. And tough call. Sure, let's do that. We'll Heavy Ball for Emboar. And now look how much we're cooking, you know? Get Blastoise, Mystical Fire. We are cooking for sure. I don't think I need that Level Ball. And I don't want to play the Rod yet. Because if they have Gust again, then I'm going to have to kind of reckon with that. And I think if they do Gust again, they'll Gust my Emboar though. So I'll put that there. And we'll Beach. Okay. So I've got my dudes. I've got my dudes all set up. We've got Emboar, Charizard, and Delphox. The gang, the Three Musketeers. They're going to scoop up net. Oh, I thought they were going to scoop up net Blastoise. I was going to say, dang, that's crazy. But no, they're not going to scoop up net Blastoise. That would have been wild, though, because Blastoise is rare candied, so they would have had to re-evolve that. But they are getting Inteleon, and Inteleon can go get Versus Seeker for Guzma to allow them to go take out somebody else. So that is something that I was worried about. But it's the reason why I held on to this Rod, because we're kind of anticipating they're going to Gust a certain number of times. But eventually they'll have to hit into the Robo subs. And they have Escape Rope. Okay. So they're going to go for the Guzma, and we'll see who they decide to take out. It's another reason I decided to save my rare candy, because they're going to go for Sizzlipede. So they're chasing the mill Pokemon. And I know, oh, and they're going to Lost Zone it. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. Now I know they have Escape Rope in their hands. So let's send up Delphox. Oh boy. Okay. That does make things a little bit interesting, but it's also fine. We're fine. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Let's... Okay. We want to counter the Stadium Bed. Okay. Thank you, Brazy, for that Prime sub. Probably should have geared first. Oh, I can Surge, though, again. That's fun. Okay. We could Surge. And then there's nothing I really want to attack. Yeah, I should have. See, we got Juniper and Fisherman. There's nothing really here that I want to get. I could Cynthia and Caitlin for a draw of 3. Nah. Let's Colress. That's fine. Okay, we find a counter stadium, which is great. But then I need to find my... Yeah, we definitely need to put that down. And then I have Oricorio. I can't really afford to waste these cards in my hand, so let's just N. And then I still have got Mystical Fire. Okay, we got Rescue Stretcher, which does nothing. I could go for just Knockout Wailord. You guys want to do that? But then I got to deal with Inteleon coming up. Knocking out the Wailord would be kind of sick, though. Okay. We found the Moltres. All right, that's cool. So we'll go Moltres and discard these. Okay. And Inferno Fandango here. And we'll top burner. So I can discard, you know, a bunch. But I still have to worry about Gust again. There's Guzma and Verse Seeker. If they have Boss's Orders in their hand, they can make this sketchy for me. But I'm still in a pretty good spot now. Because, yeah, they just have to Special Wave. That's good. They've got 11 cards left in deck. All right. We send up Delphox. We go Rescue Stretcher. Bring back Moltres. Fisherman. And then Inferno Fandango. On to Moltres. I don't know if it's as simple as the game just being over, though. Mystical Fire for 6. It is! Yes! Perfect energy. And that's it. I could even retreat into the doll and toss the doll into my own deck. Send up Moltres and top burner for a discard of 12. GG's, GG's. And it's just as easy as that, folks. I told you we could beat water. That about wraps it up for my Fire Mill deck. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where I stream live Pokemon trading card game content just like the stuff you watched here every weekday. Now y'all have a good one. See ya!